So before we start to texture, every model needs UV mapping. So we have to create the UVs for this model before we start to texture it. So let's go ahead and UV map it. I'm going to select the top object. I'm going to isolate it, so that's the only thing I can see. So I'm going to click right here. Okay. And I'm going to go into face mode. Hold down right click, go to face. Now I'm going to click this face, hold down shift, and double click the face next to it, so that the whole face loop is selected. And now, so we can see the UVs, I'm going to edit UVs and open the UV texture editor. And you're going to get a window like this one. It should look more like this, but if you click right here, you can see the shaded UVs. Okay, so for this object, or for the faces I just selected, it makes more sense for me to create a cylindrical mapping just for that area. So I'm going to do that by going here to create UVs, cylindrical mapping. Click on that. And one thing I have not done is we have to make sure that we need a way to see if there's any distortion with the UVs. So I'm going to apply a texture to the object first. Go to object mode, select the object, hold down right click, and go down to assign new material. And this can be any type of material. I'm going to select a Lambert material. And then the attribute editor is going to open. I'm just going to rename it UV material. And under color, click on the checker box. And now select file. And under image name, click out the folder. And I'm going to provide this texture on my website, which is a UV distortion grid. You can find one online as well. Open it. And you're probably not going to see the texture like I do here. So I'm going to press 6 so I can see the texture, or click right here. Alright, so now that we can see the texture, we can go ahead and work on the UVs. So we did this cylindrical map. And to select the shell, which is these are UV shells for the faces that I made the UVs for, I'm going to hold down right click, go to UV. Okay. And now I'm going to select one UV or two, it doesn't matter. And now hold down Ctrl and right mouse click and go to shell. Okay, and now that whole area has been selected. So now if I press W, I can move that area. So basically what we want is for the texture to appear on the model. We want these to look like squares. Right now they're not exactly looking the way I want them. So we're going to scale the UVs here in the UV editor. So I'm going to press R to scale. And I'm going to start and scale the UVs here until they look more like squares. Okay, I think that looks fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue with the other area here. Let's go ahead and do the top. Go to face mode and just select all the faces from the top. And for the top, we're going to use we can use a planar mapping. So if we go to create planar map, this time we're going to click on the options box. And I'm going to set it to best plane. Keep image width and height ratio enabled. These two must be enabled. Again, best plane. And just say project. And there we have it. And here in the viewport, We even get a manipulator that we can use to move it to the side just so that we can see it. And the texture appears, looks fine. Everything's like square, and it shouldn't be too difficult to texture it this way. I think that should work fine. Now let's go ahead and do the bottom ones. So select that face, hold down shift, double click on the face next to it, so that only the faces from the top here are selected. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create a planar map. Let me move this to the side just so that we can see it. And as you can see, it's right there. And for this one, we could actually just make it a strip, like a straight line. But it shouldn't be a problem if we just leave it this way. And now for the bottom part, as you can see, you can select the shell a different way as well. If you click right here and click on the shell and then press W to move it, you can select the whole shell that way as well. So for the bottom part, notice that there is distortion here, but at the same time, based on the texture, if I look at it here, I think there's panels here. So we have a few panels here that go here, and I think those follow all the way to the bottom. Actually, they look like they just go this way to the bottom. So in this case, distortion may be an issue, or it may not be an issue, but we'll just have to do it this way. I'm going to scale this one down. Scale that one down. Let me go to edge. So I wanted to line up. I want the UVs, these two line up. So if I double click this edge, I can see that the edge right here is right here as well. So I'm going to cut this one. So I'm going here to edge mode, select that edge, so it's selected. Go to polygons and cut UV edges. Okay. And now if we go to shell, you can see that it's separate. But now I want to attach this piece to the other side instead. So I'm going to edge and select that edge. And now go to polygons, see, move and sew edges. Okay. UV, hold down control, go to shell, W, and move it. So again, it may be a problem if you have these distortion there. So it might be something that we fix later, once we start to texture it. But for now, we're going to leave it this way. Okay. So we have the top. And right now we don't need to worry about the placement of the UV shells. So let's go ahead and do this one, which is pretty much already done for us. As you can see, we have a strip here, and that is exactly what we want. Let me assign, hold on, right click, assign existing material, and I named it UV matte, so I can actually see it on the model here. And I want this to be a bit more so that they look like squares on my texture, like that. That should be fine. So going to leave that one as is. Now select the other piece. And for this one, let me assign the material, UV matte. And we're going to do a planar map for the top and the bottom part. Select that face and that one, and go to create planar map, like that, and do the same with the bottom part. Create planar map. And for the outside faces, like these, go all the way. I'm going to do a cylindrical map for those. So let's go cylindrical mapping. Number 6, so I can actually see it. Okay. And I can fix that one if I go to shell and scale that. So that they look like squares on my model. Okay, and that should be fine. Okay, let's go ahead and do the same thing with the inside face. No click, so the faces from the inside I selected. Go to create cylindrical map, and pretty much do the same thing here. Select the UV area, hold down Ctrl, go to shell, press R, scale that down. And look at the model here so that we can see. Okay, so we have that one. Let's go ahead and do this one. And as you remember, I created an instance, so all these are copies of this one, or vice versa. So when I do the UVs for this piece, the UVs for this are going to be done at the same time. So for this one, let's go ahead and assign the material. Let me select the whole thing. And assign existing material, the UV material. Okay. And for this one, I think I'm going to delete the face at the top. And for this, I'm going to do a planar map for this face. That face, I'm pressing G after the first planar map. And here as well. And as you can see, the UVs are done for the other ones, the other pieces as well. And we're going to do the exact same thing with these. Go to face, select one face, go to planar map, select the other face, go to planar map, the other face, planar map, and the last face, planar map. And I think this one also has faces. Let's see. I'm going to delete the faces from the side. And as you can see, if I select this one as well, they have the same UVs. Now for the ladder, that's a simple planar mapping. Go to planar map, and there we go. And this piece, for that, it's going to be a cylindrical map. So if I select the faces, go to create cylindrical map, and then go to UV here in the UV texture editor, go to shell, press R to scale, scale it so I can actually see it. And there we go. And I have faces on the bottom of this one as well. So I'm going to select the faces, go to create planar map, and there we have it. So basically we already created the UVs for all the pieces, and pretty much all we have to do now is pack everything into one square, which is this area right here. So that's all we have to do, is pack everything. So for this one, what I'm going to do is go to Polygons, Layout Options box. I'm going to set the prescale to World, and make sure your settings are this way. Say Apply. Make sure move your UVs and pack the UVs close to what I have here. I'm actually going to select them again. Change one of the settings under Layout Options box. For spacing presets, I'm going to set it to 512. Apply. Okay, just so that I have more space between these shells. As you can see, if I select this one and this one, they have the same UVs, which is fine. Now I'm going to select this one and do the same thing. Go to Layout. There we have it. Now if I select this one, to Polygons, Layout, there we go, and finally this one, Layout. And I'll have to move this one back because I want it to line up. So that's basically what you need to do. You have to make sure that when you select the whole object, everything fits into place. So we're going to have to move some of the things to the side so that everything fits. Alright,